So today we're going to be remembering Street Fighter 3 Double Impact. This, what you're seeing right now, is just the introduction to Street Fighter 3 New Generation, which at the time of its release back in, I believe it was 1997, it was kind of shocking to see Capcom go ahead and try something different with the Street Fighter franchise. So what you're seeing here, this is basically what happens at the boot up. You can pick between Street Fighter 3 New Generation and Street Fighter 3 Second Impact. And of course you guys know about Third Impact. So we're going to take a look at New Generation. And as you can tell, the roster is kind of small, only 10 characters. That's really unusual for a fighter, especially when this was released on the Dreamcast, which was after 1999. But what made this game so interesting was the fact that, Capcom took a chance with this. They said, finally, after releasing 752 million versions of Street Fighter 2, let's see if we can count to 3. And other than Ryu and Ken, there's all completely new characters, new storyline, new bosses, new everything. And it's pretty badass, to be honest with you. The big difference in terms of gameplay with Street Fighter 3 as opposed to Street Fighter 2 was the Parry System, whereby you could basically harness an enemy's attack and throw it back at them. It was really interesting. You won't see that here, at least not from my gameplay, because I have no idea where my arcade fighter stick is for the Dreamcast, so I was using the D-pad, and I can still pull off some moves, as you can see, but it's just nowhere near what I used to be like. Now, take a look at these backgrounds, at the animation. Everything looks really detailed, everything's bright, sharp, and all around just kick-ass. You might notice a couple of lines going through the screen as the characters move. That's because this was done through using composite cables, and I didn't use the VGA cables because I can't find the VGA box, and I need a down converter, not a down converter, but just a converter, so I can go from VGA to component in order to get some high definition video from this. But anyways, whatever, you get the idea. You can clearly see that this is a really nice game, and obviously when you're playing the game, especially if you have it on a CRT, like what we all did back when the PlayStation 2 era came out, you obviously wouldn't make out all these lines. It's because I'm actually playing this game on a high definition screen and it's in interlace mode, so that's why you're seeing this. Sorry about that, but I mean, you all get the idea. This is a really, really nice looking game, and yeah, that's it. So let's just be quiet for a few seconds and see what the game is like in its entirety. So now we're going to take a look at Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, and this was just like all the other Street Fighters that were released before in terms of Street Fighter 2. This was just a slight variation. There were 2 new characters and a couple of backgrounds and what have you. Nothing overly fancy, but that didn't matter. That didn't matter at all. It was another version of Street Fighter 3. It played just as good. Obviously, you won't tell from my skills because with Elena there, I just totally suck. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of just some of the different characters. Dhalsim was gone, E Honda was gone, M Bison was nowhere near this storyline. So it was really original. It was really unique. And it was different, and that was perhaps the biggest compliment and the biggest shock that fighting fans had. And it's kind of a shame, because Street Fighter 3 for the longest time was sort of the outcast. Most people thought it went from Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter 4. They don't even realize that it was Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter. But I am happy to say that Street Fighter 3 Third Impact has made its way to the Xbox Live Arcade and to the PlayStation Network, so at least more fans can enjoy what is a really great fighter. That was the pinnacle of the series, but I figured I would show you Double Impact first, only because it has the 2 original versions of Street Fighter 3. Now, you know I've said this countless times already, but the Dreamcast is known primarily for its fighter library and its shoot-'em-ups, and this is obviously no exception here. This is a fantastic fighting game that I highly recommend you take a look at if you're thinking of purchasing a Dreamcast. I mean, just look at these backgrounds, look how smooth the animation is. I mean, again, I'm sorry for the interlaced lines, but outside of that, you can clearly tell that this is a really, really impressive fighter, and it's just jaw-dropping gorgeous. I cannot recommend this enough. Go out there and pick up Double Impact with a Sega Dreamcast. Pick up an arcade stick if you can, and enjoy one of the best fighter compilations that was ever released on the Dreamcast. Amazing, amazing game.